Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Friday already. Jeez, happy Friday. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and support your girl, alright? So apparently, prosecutors are now saying that Diddy forced one of his alleged victims to get a medical procedure done. One of the federal prosecutors told the judge that this shows how much control Diddy had over her and ties into whether she could actually consent to certain sexual things. It is part of the bigger question of whether there was coercion involved. The judge asked if this medical procedure was tied to the sex trafficking charge Diddy is facing, and the prosecutor says yes, it is related. I believe this is about Cassie. There were already reports that Diddy made her get breast implants but did not like how they turned out. He said they were too big and actually forced the doctor to remove them less than a week later. The doctor had warned Diddy that it was dangerous to do another surgery so soon, but Diddy did not give a damn. Nope, he forced the doctor to remove Cassie's breast implants. And guess what? The doctor was unalive a year later, I believe. Yeah, the doctor is dead. Yep, so Cassie is supposed to testify at the trial along with three other women who are using fake names, for their safety because all of them have made serious claims against Diddy. Also on Friday, the Fed said for the first time that they actually offered Diddy a plea deal before the trial. They didn't say what was in the deal, but Diddy turned it down. He said he's not a criminal, just a swinger. His lawyers backed that up too, saying, yeah, maybe he lived a swinger lifestyle, but he never did anything illegal, never did anything criminal. And his attorney, Mark Agnifilo, even said that swinging is so normal for someone like Diddy that he probably didn't even think he was doing anything wrong. Right. His legal team is planning to say that he's into swinging, like group sex, open relationships, to argue that he didn't mean to do anything illegal when he hired male escorts to sleep with his partners, doing these wild, drug-fueled, days-long sex marathons he called freak-offs. So prosecutors are saying those events were actually coercive, not just consensual partying. They also made it clear they don't want Diddy's team bringing up examples of other famous people hiring sex workers to try to make it seem normal or okay. Diddy's lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, told the judge he won't do that. He also said that they're not going to argue that Diddy is being unfairly targeted because he's black, or compare him to famous white people who were not charged for doing similar things. But he did say they'll argue that some of the stuff Diddy's accused of was just part of his lifestyle. Also, the judge ruled that jurors will be allowed to see a disturbing video from 2016 that shows Diddy, kicking and dragging Cassie in a hotel hallway in LA. And the person who recorded that video on an iPhone 6, is going to testify in court too. My goodness. Let me tell you, Diddy's team, they are so desperate. They are now saying he might not have been mentally capable of committing the crimes he's accused of because he was using so many drugs. Basically, they are trying to argue that he was too out of it to have the right mental state to actually plan or attempt to commit the crimes. You believe this? But prosecutors are pushing back, baby. They filed a motion asking the judge to block any testimony that says Diddy didn't have the mental capacity to break the law. They specifically mentioned a psychiatrist, Dr. Ellie Ayon, who Diddy's team wants to use as an expert witness. Prosecutors don't want him testifying because he never actually evaluated Diddy himself. He would just be speaking based on his experience with similar cases. So, in their filing, prosecutors explain that they are talking about something called mens rea, which is Latin for guilty mind. It basically means that to convict someone, you have to prove not just that they did something illegal, but that they meant to do it. Like they knew it was wrong or harmful. And prosecutors are saying Diddy's drug use doesn't change that. And the psychiatrist's opinion on whether Diddy was lucid doesn't even matter. Prosecutors wrote in their objection filing the notice testimony related to the defendant's diminished capacity to form the mens rea required to commit the charged offenses. In other words, a mental condition bearing on the issue of guilt if a defendant intends to introduce expert evidence relating to a mental disease or defect or any other mental condition of the defendant bearing on the issue of guilt. He must provide notice to the government. And you know what's kind of wild is that the federal indictment actually accuses Diddy of drugging his victims to make them comply during those freak-off sex parties. But now there's a question about whether he was also in a haze doing all of that. Wow, wow, wow. Diddy's legal team are so desperate. They are saying anything. They are trying anything, hoping something sticks. Okay? So, Diddy was back in court yesterday, Thursday, for one last hearing before his criminal trial starts Monday. In court, the judge asked him if he turned down a plea deal from the feds, and he said yes. The judge made sure Diddy understood that by rejecting the deal, he could end up serving more time if he is convicted. And Diddy said, yeah, he gets it. Okay. So we don't know the details of what the plea deal was, but usually it's close to the sentence he might get if found guilty. Prosecutors mostly offer these deals to protect the case from being appealed later. If they didn't offer anything, Diddy could argue later that his lawyers didn't do their job right and try to get a new trial. So that's why they offer plea deals. They also talked about jury selection at the hearing. It is scheduled to start Monday, May 5th at 8 a.m. And the goal is to pick a jury within 3 days. Diddy has pled not guilty to all 5 charges he's facing, 2 for sex trafficking, 2 for transporting people to engage in prostitution, and 1 for racketeering. If convicted, Diddy is facing a minimum of 15 years in prison. That is the minimum. And yeah, his trial officially starts Monday. This Monday. Oh my goodness. You guys, it's here this Monday. It's wow. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm just like, I'm at a loss for words. But you guys, what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to support this channel. All you have to do is like and subscribe. That's all I'm asking. Nothing more, nothing less. All right, you guys? And I will see you on the next one. Peace.